a lot of people, particularly people that listen to this podcast, probably have a pretty good morning routine.
Yeah.
Most people probably don't have a good nighttime routine.
Yeah. We've been hammered to have a good morning, which is
you win the morning, you win the day.
Yeah, but
where does the morning start?
that's a fine point.
Yeah, the morning starts the night before.
Yeah. We are here because we know the outcomes in our lives are within our control. That taking absolute ownership of how we eat, sleep, train, think, and connect with each other is how we'll optimize our health and happiness. That chasing excellence is how we grab hold of what is possible. Our mission is to live on the run, always chasing, never stopping. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Chasing Excellence. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Hello, Ben. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Patrick.
Today we are going to return to our 3x3. 3x3 is when I present you with 3 different ideas, 3 different topics, 3 different questions, and you give us your kind of 3 hot takes on each one of those.
Hot takes.
Hot takes.
No pressure.
So today we're going to do 3 books that every competitive athlete should read, 3 things that everybody's home gym should include, and 3 ways to get a better night of sleep tonight. Do you want to do the competitive athletes one first?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's go
3 books that competitive athletes should read that do not include yours.
Yeah, that's like a setup, right? Okay. Yeah. All right. Major influences for me. Obstacles the Way, Ryan Holiday. Just like overarching thought and principle is so strong for a competitor, right? You're going to have adversity. Things are not going to go your way. That does not mean these are bad things. They actually could be like major blessings in disguise, AKA Katrin's rope climbs turned her into a world champion. Majorly influential. That's one of the books I've talked about on this podcast before because it carries over to so many other things. It's kind of one of my top 5s, period.
And it's funny about that book that so many professional sports or professional teams have. The
Patriots, the New England Patriots read that book. I don't know if they continue to, but they have in the past.
It's just interesting that he didn't, I'm sure he didn't read it with that audience in mind, but that's.
He didn't write it with that.
He didn't write it, apologies. Yeah, he didn't write it with that sport or that athletic in mind, but I think that's a big place where it took hold and then it kind of went everywhere from there.
Yeah, it's so applicable to what I do.
Yeah,
either
for sure.
A small business, coaching, athletics, or parenting.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2 would be probably the book that influenced me the most as a coach, which is How Champions Think by Bob Rutella.
Okay.
This is from a coach's perspective. So it's really kind of impactful. He's a sports psychologist, he kind of made his mark in golf, but has since worked with a lot of really high level MBA and so on. It kind of talks about even the conversations he's had with LeBron James and this no BS approach to what it takes to think, act, and train like a champion. Incredible book, shaped a lot of the way that I coach. The third one would be Katrin's favorite mindset book, which is How A Champion's Mind. By Jim Afremow, or I'm going to pronounce that wrong. Okay. Afremow,
Put a link
like
to it in the show notes.
Yeah.
So folks
a lot of like really easy read. It's a lot of short little paragraphs unrelated to each other. So you can almost just pick it up and read it any which way you want, start anywhere you want. A lot of stories of people that have been champions and the way that they overcome adversity, or the way that they stay focused, what their version of mental toughness is, how they kind of rose to the ranks and became the best of the best, and certainly written from an athlete's perspective. And that's definitely what Katrin gives a lot of credit to her metamorphosis.
Got it. Okay. Next one. 3 things that every home gym should include.
Okay, I'm a purist. This is probably going to be a little underwhelming. Because how can you not have these things in my mind?
Yeah.
And that would be a altitude chamber. I'm just kidding.
A personal masseuse.
Yeah. It would be dumbbells, whether that's a pair of dumbbells, or if you're a pretty strong guy, I would recommend getting a pair of 35s, a pair of 50s, and a pair of 70-pound dumbbells. And I would get the Hex dumbbells. I mean, guys, they're shaped like
the rubber-headed.
Hex.
Yep, you're right. Yep.
What's the shape though? Why is
hexagon?
Is it hexagon?
Sure, let's go with that and see if the internet yells at us.
Okay. Did you say see if the internet yells at us?
Yeah.
I love that. Now I'm realizing people listen to this. And I'm freaked out a little bit. I very rarely think like that. Like I was just talking to you. Okay, so like the hex dumbbells, if you have more space, if you have more, then maybe a barbell. But I actually, for a home gym, would prefer the dumbbell. It's just easier to kind of get warmed up with it. It's in which what home gym workouts kind of like imply. You're going to not spend 3 hours at the gym. Very few people in their home gym are kind of, especially if they're looking for the 3 major things, are spending like, doing like hour-long warm-ups and all the rest. So you can kind of jump into dumbbells a little bit quicker. The next one would be a pull-up bar.
Yeah.
So many things you can do with the pull-up bar, and if you're missing it, you're missing kind of some core, no pun intended, some core fundamental movement patterns that I think are kind of paramount to fitness. I also like pull-ups. And the third would be if you live in a northern hemisphere or you live where there are winters, I would get some form of runner.
I would move.
Yeah, exactly. I would get a moving van for your home gym. I would get a self-propelled, is that the right terminology? Self-propelled treadmill.
Yeah.
Not one.
So
that's
like a true form.
like a true form or an air runner
there's a couple of them now.
by Assault. Those are called self-propelled, right? Not one that you like.
If not, the internet will yell at us.
Yeah, cool. I would get one of those. Now, if you live where you can run outside year round, I would swap that out for a rower. Yeah. So I would choose run over row. We are bipedal human beings. It's a little more natural. The most functional thing you need to do is, it's arguable, is get from point A to point B, which implies moving, which implies, if you want to do with intensity, which matters, it implies running. The argument there is like maybe you could argue that getting up and down squat might be more functional than actually running, because if you can't, you'd be able to get up and down before you can run. But so it would be my 3. I would go, and man, you get good workouts with that. Like there's very little you can't do. I get it. You can't do wall balls. Okay, do thrusters. I get it. You can't do box jumps. Jump. Like there's like you can almost do like you can't do kettlebell swings. Yes, you can. You swing a dumbbell. Like there's almost nothing you can't do with a pair of dumbbells, being able to run or row, and a pull-up bar.
Yeah, I as you know this, but I do most of my workouts in my garage in my home gym, and I've got the 35 and the 50 dumbbells, and I can do just about everything. The 70s would be nice to play around with, but you can survive.
Just
without.
I wouldn't need the 70s.
Yeah, I don't like. I can like maybe dumbbell or deadlifts would be fun, but the only thing that I don't have fully that I kind of wish I did was a pull-up bar that. So I have a squat rack, and I put the squat rack to the highest thing, and then I can do some dead hang pull-ups off of that with a barbell. And I'm tall, so a lot of people could probably do it better than I do. Yeah, like that works.
The internet, people don't know this. You're 6'7".
It's true. On a
now
bad
you
day.
lie.
No.
I was joking. When you say it's true, they think it's true.
No, but I am 6'2", so tall enough. I don't need to be any taller. Anybody taller than 6'2" is a freak. But
and then I've got really going to yell at us now. You just called like 20% of the population.
I called like 2% of the population freaks. And then I have a rower, and it really, you're right. Like those 3 things, right? Like they're. And I've got a few other things, obviously, but like those 3 things really, like if you can't come up with a week full of workouts with those things.
I get like you're not gonna be able to do double unders. Like okay, run, you're gonna get out of running. Like there's so many things that you can get out of those things. Can't do ring muscle. Okay, do bar muscle ups. Like there's a lot. Can't do dips. Like you can do dips. If you have a pair of dumbbells, you can put them, like you can support them up and do dips on the dumbbells. Yeah,
totally. All right, cool. Last one today is 3 ways to get a better night of sleep this evening.
Okay, let's start with maybe the most tactical. The easiest is get your bedroom to the right temperature, which science is showing us now is between 62 and 68 degrees. I think 68 sounds really warm, but 62 to 68 is what science says where the optimal sleep happens. So really tactical. That's the first one. The next one would be probably the next most tactical, which would be lights. And lights take let's call it 3 different ways you can work lights to help you out. 2 have to do with pre-bedtime, and the third one has to do with while you're asleep. The first one is this kind of goes into like maybe the last one, which is like this nighttime routine, right? Which you're start dimming the lights. So let me back up a little bit. Your body is trying really hard to get in rhythm with nature. They call it the circadian rhythm, and your body is going to produce a hormone called melatonin when it starts to get dark out, telling your body it's now time to go to sleep. Everyone produces this. I don't say everyone. 99.9. This is my made up fact, but percent of people produce melatonin sufficiently. The reason you supplement it is when your circadian rhythm is messed up to get you back onto it.
Got it.
Prolonged is psychosomatic. You don't need it because you're doing it, or you are messing things up by creating bad light situations. Forever, this was an issue because when it got dark out, we went to bed. And then a couple hundred years ago, the artificial light bulb.
Internet.
Yeah, exactly. The internet a couple hundred years ago. That's amazing. They kept it from us.
I said it on a podcast, so it's true.
The artificial light was invented, and man, this threw a major so everyone talks about like the agricultural revolution as the start of the downfall of human health. Well, equally as impactful, a lot of people are saying, is the light bulb. Like the light bulb messed people up. Like now all of a sudden you can be productive past dark. Before it was like candle lights, and it was really dim, and everywhere else was super dark. It's like your body was producing enough, you were sleeping enough. So what we can do to kind of like get back in that rhythm is a few things, which is dim the lights 2 hours before your bedtime. That will help out a ton. All of a sudden it's like you're not in this big bright environment with all the stimulus coming in. The next one would be blue light. So blue light gives us the same type of light that the sun does. So it really messes with your mind and body in terms of like circadian rhythm and producing melatonin. So the two answers to that is don't look at your devices, phone, iPad, computers, or TV 2 hours before bed. If you're the person that can't not do that, the person that can't.
But the people who won't do that.
If you're the type of person that won't do that, thank you. Then there's glasses, and there's actually apps that you can get. They'll put a filter over.
iPhones do it it's not even an app now. You can just do it.
It's like a setting. Yeah. Awesome. That's even better.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I gotta do that.
I'll show you later. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what was I saying? Oh, blue light. So there's even studies that go so far as like your body's so it has receptors all over. It's not just your eyes. There are literally, I was about to make up another number. There's receptors all over your body. And there was a study done where they put people in pitch black, had them sleep, then they monitor them again, and they put like a little flashlight in a totally dark room under the covers behind their knee. And that light, just that was enough to disrupt their sleep because those receptors are saying it's daylight.
It's responding to something. Yeah.
You need to sleep in dark. You need to go to let your body know it's getting dark.
Maybe everybody should like flip the breakers on their house at 7:30 p.m.
Well, you can still keep your food cold in the fridge.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, moving on.
Okay, and the last one is like it kind of segues into that, but is create a nighttime routine.
Yeah.
So maybe the first part of that is stop watching tech. So tech does two things. One is the light, so you get the blue light, but the other is just the raw stimulus of like, hey, this is exciting.
Noises,
hey, this is exciting.
Noises.
Yeah, noise, like loud noises. It's distracting. So what you want to do is, it's stimulating. Is 2 hours before bedtime, start to put a lot of people, particularly people that listen to this podcast, probably have a pretty good morning routine.
Yeah.
Most people probably don't have a good nighttime routine.
Yeah. We've been hammered to have a good morning, which is
you win the morning, you win the day.
Yeah, but
where does the morning start?
That's a fine point.
Yeah, the morning starts the night before.
Yeah.
So whether that's packing your gym bag or creating, whatever it is, creating that nighttime routine is kind of a big way that you can start to win the morning. Some few things that are kind of work well is reduce stimulus. Put on meditative guitar. This is our new playlist that we play at our house. It's, the Bergerons is a really rocking place. We put on meditative guitar and light candles.
Awesome. Is this kids involved, or is this just like when the kids go down and
we give the kids the matches and tell them to run around the house? Yes, the kids are in charge of that with the scissors.
One with the scissors, one with the matches.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Nice.
Sometimes both together. It's really exciting. Lower the stimulus. Yeah, stimuli.
Turn all the lights off and give them those.
So kids don't know the difference in terms of like, you just start to like, and then we dim the lights. We're not perfect at this. So don't like think like, oh my gosh. But this is what we're trying to work on. Heather and I have both been digging to sleep a lot recently, last year and a half or so. If people want more of this, read Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, or check him out on the Joe Rogan podcast. He was on, I think, like Impact Theory, just like kind of
he's around.
Do the interwebs from Matt Walker. He's kind of become the expert in sleep hygiene, and it's amazing. Here's why this matters. Why are we even talking about this? Daylight savings. When we spring forward, you lose an hour of sleep. Heart attacks in the United States that following Monday go up by 24%. In the fall, when we fall back and everyone gets an extra hour of sleep, heart attacks in the United States go down by 21%. If you think that we're just talking about sleep because it's like kind of like a thing that a performance coach likes to talk about, it is. I like to talk about because it matters. Yeah. It's hugely so. I am always about trying to like create like rankings and protocols, like where do these things fall? And I'm having a hard time to figure out where sleep ranks in terms of like nutrition, training, genetics, like environment, mindset, stress. Like you could make the argument that sleep is the number one because without that, you don't have the willpower to do the other ones. Take someone that's
Totally
sleep deprived and put like kale and salads and apples in front of them, and then also put like cookies and bagels and pizza. They're gonna have a much, much harder time saying no to the bad food than somebody that got 9 hours of sleep the night before. That's for real. It matters. So if that's the case, kind of doesn't everything work off of this? Now you could say, no, everything works off your genetics is the starting point. Okay, I get that. Like, you can say mindset. Okay, but what I'm saying is it's at least on par with those things, if not superior or more important.
Yeah. One thing that I don't have it, or I don't currently anyways, but I'll be interested to see smart homes. I don't know if you have any like Alexa is a quote unquote smart device, but a lot of light bulbs now, and Alexa can kind of connect to a lot of quote unquote smart light bulbs. So I bet people are doing this, and I bet more and more as we understand this better, will kind of set up their house so that at, let's say, the sun goes down at 7 o'clock.
Dim through Alexa?
That's yes, if you're connected to.
We have smart.
Whatever it is. Yeah,
we do.
And I don't know.
I've never done like Alexa.
Yeah, so you
dim
can
the bedroom lights.
You can basically set like scenes, right? So if you wanted to set a scene in your living room for movie night or whatever, like you can theoretically at least set your whole house to go to like nighttime dim at a certain set time. So I'm willing to bet that that's a useful thing to figure out how to do. Because what it is like you don't have to make that decision anymore. It's like more often than not, the lights automatically happen, and it's just like we just kind of get into the nighttime routine.
So you're saying through Alexa, you believe that you could just like do as a preset thing.
Yeah, Apple has HomeKit, and there are a couple more players in the space of
relative
smart
to
homes.
when the sun sets. You could say, "Whoa."
Yeah, so it's worth doing. Have you removed the phone from your bedroom yet? I think we talked about that, and you were taking the phone to bed. And if not, why not? And if so, like, what have you found to be useful there?
If not, it's because I forget.
Yeah.
I am probably 2 nights a week with the phone downstairs.
Yeah.
I am not. That's where I am right now. Yeah. Now that you just said that, reminded me though. I'm making commitment to you, to me, and to everyone else listening on the interwebs. I'm going to start to leave my phone downstairs.
Awesome.
That's good.
Last thing, we spent most of this 3x3 talking about sleep, but have you had any experience with like stuff like CBD stuff, or is it the melatonin that you can kind of like pop a pill before you go to sleep? Is that anything you found? So you kind of mentioned that like it's a Band-Aid, but have you found anything other than that?
So CBD, I haven't experimented with enough to kind of have a really well-formed opinion.
Yeah.
What I have seen is
people shoot me notes to see.
So
if
what
you
I have, so I don't have one yet. I'm going to reserve. That's why we haven't talked about it on this podcast yet. Because what I'm also seeing is a crazy wide spectrum.
Yeah.
From because I do have some of my athletes using it. Some are like, I don't see anything. Other ones like, it's changing my life. So I need to kind of like I need more data and inputs and time to actually have a really well-formed opinion on that. The melatonin one, we touched on a little bit.
Yeah.
It does work. The time to use it is when you're traveling through different time zones and your body is messed up and its circadian rhythm is not matching up. Yep. So if you travel from across the pond to Europe, you're 6 hours off. Yep. You're not going to fall asleep because your melatonin is not going to be released because it's a rhythm thing. So I call it the circadian rhythm. Yep. What you can do is you can synthetically, if you want to call it that, it's not, but if you want to supplement with it, that will work. Now, what won't work is you just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it because you will fall into rhythm. Yep. And that's what's more important than the supplement form.
Got it. Okay. That was 3 books that every competitive athlete should read, 3 things that every home gym should have, and probably like 7 things to get a better night of sleep tonight. Thanks, Ben. We'll see everybody next week. You can get every episode of Chasing Excellence wherever you listen to your podcasts or on YouTube. Until next time, thank you for listening.